Hey, how you doing? I'm Dijon. I am the creator of Dharma Glow, and I'm here today to help you figure out how to tap into your happiness by balancing these three things: your mind, your body, and your soul. Those three things form a trinity which allows you to live in happiness and live in devotion to your purpose. So I've always been someone who's been interested in spirituality and always asking questions that not everyone was interested in or had answers to. But that's led me to explore lots of different things, connect with lots of different people, read lots of self-help books and books on spirituality. And one in particular by Sahara Rose, you can see that here, Discover Your Dharma, is all about learning what your Dharma is in this lifetime. The way I translate Dharma is what you are here on earth to do. So if you don't know what you're here on earth to do, I feel like you're not going to be happy, because living your Dharma or your purpose is what brings happiness and fulfillment. Otherwise, you may be working towards something that society told you was important or that your parents told you was important, but then once you get that thing, it's like maybe you feel emptiness because that wasn't your original idea of how you wanted to be happy and how you wanted to make an impact in the world, or maybe you haven't even considered those things. I believe that everyone has the guidance internally that tells them what is the highest path for them, because no one's path is the same. You can't follow someone's exact path and expect to be happy because they're them and you're you. But what you can do is synchronize your mind, body, and soul. And when you do synchronize those things, you will have direct access to the intuitive guidance that comes from the source of all that is, and that source will tell you what your next step is. Then it's up to you to take aligned action towards the realization of that next step. I'm going to give you 3 quick ways to harmonize your mind, body, and soul, one for each dimension, and I'll give you an example, and you can start to try those things. So, the mind, for instance. The mind is not the same thing as the brain, because the brain is an organ and it's finite, but the mind is infinite. To exemplify what I mean by the mind being infinite, is like the brain has a certain mass, it fits inside of my head, whereas the mind, it has an infinite ability to take in things and process things, right? If you were thinking about a public library, right, like how many books can you keep in a public library? A finite amount, right? Like only so many. But how many books can you read? As many as you decide to, right? If you were to live forever, you could just keep reading books, right? Because you can keep processing things through the mind. In our modern day and age with so much information, it can be challenging about how to discern which information is valuable to you on your journey and which is just stuff you can ignore. But that is something we are all learning how to do. Meditation, I have found, is the best way to still your mind and cleanse it. It's like spiritual hygiene. I've been practicing Vedic meditation for almost 4 years now, a little over 4 years actually, but getting started, it can be difficult. You know, I may meditate 40 minutes a day minimum, but when you're getting started, maybe even 1 minute can seem challenging. So the invitation to start working with your mind and softening its resistance to stillness so that you can therefore discern which information is valuable to you is to try meditating for 60 seconds a day. Right when you wake up, you can smile, and you can sit up in bed and you can just focus on your breathing, on the inhale and the exhale for 60 seconds. If you're making a cup of coffee, as the coffee is brewing, you can close your eyes and focus on your breathing and the inhale and exhale for 60 seconds. So that's an example of how you can harmonize your mind and balance your mind, which is part of the mind-body-soul connection. So number 2 is the body. So the body is, our physical body, which our soul is housed in. So we need to be able to keep our body active, to produce endorphins. The funny thing about the body is you have to expend energy to get energy. If you're feeling sluggish, sometimes you need to work out to activate your endorphins and your dopamine and your serotonin. And the way I like to think about it is, those icy hot packs that you have to like break apart, and then once you break them, the heat oozes from the inside out and starts heating out the totality of the pack. That's kind of how the energy is inside of our body. So if we're feeling stiff, if we've been sitting in a chair all day, if we don't have energy, we may want to skip the gym, we may want to just do the easy thing and turn on the television. But once you are able to activate your energy, crack that icy hot pack and let the energy spread throughout your body, then you start feeling more energized. It's counterintuitive, but in my experience, it works. I would invite you to also, for 1 to 2 minutes a day, maybe you're doing squats, just like up and down, or maybe you're doing a few push-ups, or maybe you're taking the stairs instead of taking the elevator. Make a concerted effort to work out your body. It's just like if you owned a dog, you would need to take it for walks. You have a body that needs to be worked out too. Do yourself a favor and connect with yourself in that way. And then the third thing is the soul. The soul is the eternal part of us, which you may or may not believe in, but I definitely believe we have a soul, that we are eternal beings having a human experience. And if you've navigated to this channel, there's a good chance that you're on that wavelength as well. But the soul is the part of us that goes from incarnation to incarnation and has different experiences towards the perfection of itself. We are here to be what we already are, which is God, because God is everything. In our journeys as humans, we gain wisdom and we become more godlike, we become more conscious, and you keep having incarnations over and over and over again until you have perfected all the lessons that you're here to learn. So anything that increases your wisdom, I think, is good for the soul. So like the book I mentioned, From Sahara Rose, was a wisdom increasing piece of literature for me. I have some books by Londrell. Maybe you listen to a meditation on YouTube by Eckhart Tolle or something like that. Maybe you journal and reflect and become more self-aware, because wisdom is equated to bringing consciousness to your everyday experiences. So a lot of times journaling can be a good soul communing exercise. You could try 1 minute journaling. When you get up in the morning, you could journal your thoughts for 1 minute, or right before you go to bed, you can journal your thoughts about what your day was like, what kind of stood out. And that just starts to bring more awareness into what your life is like and how you're perceiving your life. Each of those things, the mind, body, and soul exercise, can be just for 1 to 2 minutes each, but try to be consistent with them, because as you are consistent with those things, the amount of time you spend doing them will naturally expand. You don't want to overdo it and try to say, I'm going to do, an hour of meditation every day. I'm going to work out 5 days a week for an hour, because that's not realistic, and it would be easy to get discouraged when you don't meet that goal. But if you start with 1 or 2 minutes and you are consistent and you cross it off, every time you do it, then you have the opportunity to gain momentum and slowly build your expansiveness within yourself and take steps more into your true self. So those are my suggestions and tips for living a happy life and getting in touch with your purpose, are harmonizing your mind, body, and soul, and then listening to the voice of your intuition that tells you what is the next step on your journey. I can't tell you what the next step is, but I can tell you how to access your inner being so that you know what the next step is. I hope that was helpful. There will be more videos like this coming about all different aspects of personal growth and spirituality and just expansion and harmony and living a happy, fulfilled life. So thanks for being here. If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button and tune in for more. Talk to you soon. Peace.